Greetings, dear ones. I'm Cryon of Magnetic Service. A short message, but a profound one. It has to do with who's here. Some time ago, I gave a channel, and then it was repeated. And 2 other times, we alluded to it in certain ways, and I want to abbreviate it and tell you what it was. I think the first one may have been another parable of woe. And somehow woe found himself in a magic place which turned out to be his Akashic record. And in the Akashic record, it was manifested by statues. Every lifetime was a statue. And in the parable, woe got to look at the statues. In one that I gave, the statues actually came alive, would come down and say who they were. Well, they were all woe. And he got to see this gently, and then perhaps less gently. And he started realizing these were his lifetimes. He was speaking to himself. One of the most profound ones got down and said, "Woe, I'm the one who killed hundreds of millions of children and adults. And I did it on purpose, and I did it for my God." And then he stepped back up on another one came out, a beautiful woman. This one was burned to death as a witch. And the more he learned about himself, the more he realized what he'd been through. He met the sea captain. Now he loves the sea. Woe just loves the sea. The sea captain got off of the pedestal and he said, "I'm the one. I'm in your Akash." Woe, very strong, because you love the sea, don't you? And Woe said, "Yes." And the sea captain said, "We had some wonderful adventures until we drowned." And Woe took a deep breath because Woe hated the water. And then he began to understand and realize that every single one of these statues represented a piece and a part of what he was as Woe. And as he went along the statues and he got toward the end, he realized it was closer and closer to his life. He got to see his immediate past life as well. He got to see he was both genders many times. He got to realize that he as a man had children in that Akash that he was. He got to see the wisdom of all the collective that was. But the last one was different. The one that was right beside who Woe was didn't get off the platform, but it was another color. It glowed differently than all the others. And the angel that was with Woe, who was guiding this, said, "This one will be unknown to you for a while. This is the one that is still with you in some ways because collectively you agreed to come down and be here and take the wisdom of the others with you and endure the shift." And that is who I'm talking to. What do you think is in your Akash that would bring you to sit here and listen? Wise old souls, you have been everything. You have endured everything. The best that the earth had to offer and the worst is in your Akash. And so many of you right now are learning to sort it out. And that is the new power you have to rewrite the Akash, to mine the Akash. Take only the good things and bring them forward. This is the power you have. But in the end, you sit there with all the good stuff and all the wisdom in a time when it's needed the most for you to be normal. And I'll say it again. Show people love, not strangeness. Show people balance and kindness and compassion when they talk, not strangeness. There are so many, for so many years, who have pushed away so many people because their reactions were not good to what you had to say. This is starting to change. And so what I'm telling you is learn how to love. And you learn yourself first, loving yourself enough to understand who you are and yet act like the master. Mastery, it doesn't react, it observes. How are you doing in that department? Dear ones, this is the theme of the entire day, of the entire 4 days, is the love connection. That is the connection. It's with yourself. It's with all that has occurred in your Akash. You are in a new awakening time and period, and you're becoming aware. That's who sits here today, almost without exception. It's magic to be able to deal with so many souls that I know and I'm in love with. And so it is. Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Some have referred to everything you've done in the last 4 days as a mountaintop experience. It's a metaphor. Or when those would go up perhaps even above the clouds and experience the euphoria and then have to come down. And they refer to it as a mountaintop experience because there's the idea that you've got to go back to the mountaintop to get it again. You don't. What I want to tell you right now is that you carry with you the ability to synthesize everything that has meant something to you in these 4 days and put them inside you in a way that's new. You know, time is a construct, don't you? Most people would say, well, time is time is time, and yet you have a scientist years ago came along and said, no, it didn't. It depends upon how fast you're going and how it's observed, and it goes slow and it goes fast. And then you realize that time is a variable. If you have multidimensional parts within you, and you do, if you have the wisdom of the elders and the ages in you, and you do, you can pull upon them when you need them. And this is one time I'm telling you to pull upon the master physicist, the creative source, the part of God that is within you, and say, I wish to synthesize all that has happened in 4 days. I wish to put it in this place in me so that it's always there should I wish to retrieve it. And when you go back down the mountain, as they say, when you go home, and things return perhaps to normal, and you say, well, I sure enjoyed that, and I wish I could go back, and I want you to sit down at that moment in time and say, Spirit, this is the moment. Give it to me. And in that, you will feel love. In that, you will receive in a synthesized way, a capsulated version, you might say, of the most profound things that have happened in these 4 days for you. The ahas, perhaps the tears, perhaps the healing. You carry it home. What a concept. And you can have it any time you wish. What a concept. That's what masters do. I opened this program with permission from the elders to be here. I asked the elders for permission for these messages to be given. This was granted overwhelmingly, for they understand that we are also part of the dust of the earth that they are. And the times are changing so that the wisdom can come forward. I now close this meeting in the same way I opened it. Thank you, elders of this land, guardians of this land. Thank you, stewards of this land, for allowing us here to continue your lineage. I'm Cryon, in love with all of you, and so it is.